This is authoritarian crap.
This government is a joke. The American government is a joke.
He's been hiding his real identity for a long, long time, and his real identity is an Israeli propagandist bought prostitute for the government of Israel. I don't trust you at all. And honestly, you'd have to be a moron or a mainstream media reporter to trust a politician telling me, oh, I'm taking $1 million from a PAC, but trust me, I don't work for them.
To people in my party, I'm tired of this crap. Israel is our friend. They're the most reliable friend we have in the Mideast. A word of warning. If America pulls the plug on Israel, God will pull the plug on us.
Do you think Lindsey Graham's talking to God? Do you think God told him, oh, hey, tell everybody that America's gonna get wiped out. I'm gonna kill everybody in America. I'm gonna pull the plug on America. I'm gonna wipe out and totally destroy America unless you all send your money to Israel right now. Does anyone in their right mind believe that there's a 1% chance that that happened? Obviously not, obviously not. So, but Lindsey Graham does work for someone. He works for Israel. And here, I'll skip ahead to one graphic here, AIPAC tracker. How much has he gotten from the pro-Israel lobby? Oh, look at that, over $1 million. Moronic mainstream media reporters will say it has not affected him at all. No, he doesn't work for Israel. That was just a coincidental $1 million. And he happened to already agree that we should all be dogs to Israel. We should all serve Israel loyally and not America. And if we don't, God will murder us all. So I ask all Americans, but particularly the right wing, do you think God will wipe us out unless we keep sending money and weapons to Israel? A government, a foreign government. That God cares so much about a foreign government that unless we send them endless bombs and weapons and allow them to murder anyone they like and take any land they like, and we give them another $300 billion, unless we do that, God is going to kill us all. So obviously no one in their right mind can believe that. So what is that threat about? Since he doesn't speak to God, but he does speak to Israel, is Lindsey Graham threatening America? Is he saying if you don't keep funding Israel and following their orders, I, a United States Senator, am threatening you on behalf of Israel? Wow. So just when you thought the bribery and the corruption in Washington couldn't get any worse, we have the senator from Tel Aviv telling us that all of America will be destroyed by God unless we follow the orders of a foreign government. Unbelievable. Maybe it won't even be a controversy. Is anybody in cable news still talking about it now? No, gone in like a couple hours, right? That's not controversial at all. If you offend the feelings of an Israeli supporter, there'll be congressional hearings though, okay? So he gets to be harsh, I get to be harsh. So I'll come back to those prostitutes in a minute. So let's talk about Lindsey Graham. So he said, oh, I'm so tired about hearing about genocide. Yeah, because you're getting funded by the people committing genocide. That's why you're tired of hearing about it. You're like, oh, boo-hoo. So I got bribed to support a genocide where we just murdered tens of thousands of children. I'm so tired about hearing about it. It's hurting my ears a little bit. Okay, so why don't you all shut up about the genocide that I'm funding with your money, by the way, because I'm a corrupt son of a bitch who works for Israel. Only the corrupt have a conversation about whether it's a genocide. And I'll throw in some biased people. Oh, I love Israel. Oh, my grandmother's from Israel, so Israel can do no wrong. You're all anti-Semites, okay? No, yeah, Israel can commit a genocide, but you're not allowed to call it that because I'll call you an anti-Semite and try to ruin your life. I'm not interested in that. I don't care. You can call it, everything bounces off of us. I don't care, okay? What I care about is you actually doing a genocide and supporting a genocide like this sick Lindsey Graham. So, he says October 7th was the worst death of Jews since the Holocaust. God, that sounds terrible, right? And everybody's like, they always love that line. They love to use that line. And it is terrible. It is terrible. So we condemned Hamas 1 billion times already for that, right? So good, we all agree it's terrible. Now, this thing that is so bad, it's the worst thing since the Holocaust. Israel has killed 60 times the number of civilians. So 60 events that are the worst since the Holocaust. I know, they don't affect Israelis. Does that count? They affect the inferior people, the Palestinians. So I guess our media says, and our politicians like Lindsey Graham say, that doesn't count. That doesn't, who cares that it's the worst thing since the Holocaust? I don't care, they're only Muslims, they're only Palestinians. So they did it not once, not twice, not 3 times. Should I go all the way to 60? They've murdered more than 500 times the number of children that Hamas has murdered. So Hamas bad, Israel 500 times worse. Obviously terrorists by definition. But Lindsey Graham says, no, but I got $1 million from them. So you'll all bow your head to Israel, otherwise God will wipe you out. And besides which, I don't work for you. You idiots in South Carolina, you elected me? No, Tel Aviv and Jerusalem elected me. They gave me the money and I work for them. He says, oh my God, if the Palestinians could, they'd murder so many Israelis. Except they're not doing that. Israel is doing it to the Palestinians. They literally do. Israel is literally doing it. Not could, is doing it. Oh no, who cares? Palestinians. Who cares? Just kill them all, who cares? Who cares? Okay, so all right, Israeli lives are the most precious, superior human beings on earth, but the Palestinians don't even count. I mean, what a racist, bigoted, clown ass this Lindsey Graham is. Okay, I mean, he's been hiding his real identity for a long, long time. We all know that. And his real identity is an Israeli propagandist, bought prostitute for the government of Israel. Everyone knows that. Now even the right wing knows that. It's nonsense, ridiculous. And this is authoritarian crap. There's a reason why our cops are not in mass. There's a reason why they have their badges visible.
Right.
There's a reason why they get warrants. There's a reason why you can get their name anytime you want. Because law enforcement should not be done in shame. There's a couple of other reasons, very important reasons, but people leave that one out. No, law enforcement is supposed to protect and serve. It's supposed to be there to help the community. I know that oftentimes it doesn't, and we get frustrated by that, and we ask better of them, right? But they're supposed to help protect us. They're supposed to be of us, by us, right? So when you put them in mass, what you're saying is, I'm ashamed of what I'm doing. I think the right wing in this country was much more likely to say, yeah, if a masked guy comes into my house without a badge, I'm shooting him in the face, right? I'm not saying that, I don't own a gun, I don't think it's the right way to go, but I've heard, don't tread on me. And I mean, they would say it about tyrannical government, the Bundys said it about federal law enforcement, etc. But a rando coming and snatching up your wife in the middle of the street with a mask on and no badge?
And you think that person's a rando? Because how are you supposed to know?
How? That's the whole point of the badge.
Yeah.
That's the whole point of the goddamn badge. All right, so look, there's one, you're saying, I'm doing something terrible, and that's why I'm covering up my face and I don't want you to know who I am. Okay, already disastrous. Number 2, we don't know who you are, so now it creates chaos. And it allows people to come in and pretend they're cops, and you can't tell them because the cops won't show badges or their face, so you can't tell. So I mean, come on, guys, they're now literally raping women with this trick. Well, you're still gonna be in favor of the mass, right? And the third is, what kind of country are we? Are we a free country? Or are we the kind of country run by a tin pot dictator that sends goons with no badges en masse to kidnap people off the streets? Brother, if you're doing it right, you don't have to do any of that, okay? When you do that, you're basically saying, I know I'm doing something wrong and terrible. That's why I'm covering up in shame.
How do you, in literally the same paragraph, argue, we really need to be worried about Israel wanting to occupy the whole of the Gaza Strip. So let's deal with the famine and worry about Palestinian statehood later. No. First of all, the way the Biden administration handled this, and we all know Biden's brain was melting. So who knows how many decisions he himself made as it pertains to the ongoing genocide in Gaza, which Anthony Blinken, in my opinion, ensured Trump would inherit, and he has inherited that issue. And now he's even worse on the Gaza Strip, obviously. He's essentially like bowing before Netanyahu and the Israeli government and letting them do whatever they want, including the occupation of that territory, that Palestinian territory. This guy is a complete and utter fool, a clown, okay? And he is hiding his ball here. He's hiding the big bias he has in that he's done business on behalf of the Israelis. And that really did inform his decision making as he was serving in the Biden administration. And by the way, the Wall Street Journal is firmly up Israel's ass, especially the editorial board. So it doesn't surprise me that the Wall Street Journal happens to be the place where Anthony Blinken publishes this just grotesque opinion piece about how the Palestinian people totally do deserve statehood and self-determination, but now is not the time. Remember, this is the same scumbag, again, I'm gonna remind you all, that ran that think tank called West Exec Partners, which again served Israeli interests prior to joining the Biden administration. We're talking about Israel's security. I think Israel, considering all the weaponry, both defensive and offensive, that we send over to them, can defend itself totally fine. You know that secret nuclear program that they do have it. So we're talking about their security, Okay, what kind of military do the Palestinians have? What kind of weaponry do the Palestinians have? What about the Palestinian security? Do they get an Iron Dome paid for by the American taxpayer, which we're doing for Israel? You're talking about Israel's security. This government is a joke. The American government is a joke, totally subservient to a foreign country, and that's Israel. Pathetic. He's not serious about self-determination. That's the truth. So let's not waste time pretending like Anthony Blinken, who was the real decision maker on foreign policy, has any interest in the self-determination of the Palestinian people. It's complete and utter garbage. He's a liar. He puts a pretty little American white face on the biggest lie that you'll hear from the American government. That's just the truth. That's just the truth. The Israelis just say it out loud. They just say, we're gonna take the land, we want the land, we're gonna occupy the land, we're gonna expand even further. It's all part of the Greater Israel Project, which is literally in Likud's charter and has been from the river to the sea. But no accountability for them. And now is not the right time for the Palestinian people to have their own state. Here's what the truth is. Israel Katz went on the record, made abundantly clear that the Israelis faced absolutely no pressure to end the hostilities, to sign a ceasefire deal. No pressure from the Biden administration. That's the reality. I believe them. Here's the thing about the Israelis. I guess I could give them a credit for one thing. They're very public, open, and honest about how loathsome they are. Here in America, though, our politicians love to lie to our faces and tell us that they're really tough guys that are fighting for the right things. Anthony Blinken, furthest thing from an American figure who's fighting for justice anywhere in the world. He's fighting for his own pocketbook, for his own power, and he's absolutely pathetic. And so is the Wall Street Journal for publishing this slop. But hey, you know what? I believe in the freedom to make your voice heard, and this is Anthony Blinken's voice. A liar, a cheat, someone who allowed Donald Trump to inherit a genocide in Gaza, and who knows at this point how many innocent people have been slaughtered in Gaza as a result of it. I hope the check's cleared, Anthony. You're disgusting.
This guy is the guy who is one of the three most important leaders of Israel, let alone Ben Gvir said it many times. Netanyahu is now saying it. He said it just yesterday. He said he's on a spiritual mission for greater Israel. That means we're gonna take the West Bank and take Gaza Strip. That's Judea and Samaria. That's the heart of quote unquote greater Israel. They all say it. We think Muslims are dirt and we're gonna kill those Palestinians. We're gonna murder them and we're gonna take their land. And they say it on tape. And our American media is like, I don't see the racism. I don't see the bigotry. Did you call settlers a dirty word? How dare you, you bigot! You hateful person, bow down to the settlers. All they're doing is murdering Palestinians daily. You know, 130 attacks in the West Bank by settlers against Palestinians per month. Per month. They never get convicted. Guy shoots a Palestinian on tape. This is in the New York Times story. An Israeli soldier is standing right next to him. They question him for 20 minutes and then say, you're free to go, we have no evidence. No evidence, he shot the guy right in front of you and on tape. What that is saying is, settlers murder away, burn their property, which they are. They burned a house while a baby was inside of it, shot 2-year-old with a sniper while she was being held by her mom. Okay, these sick, savage settlers and their lunatic religious philosophy that they are the superior race. That's why I call them Nazis. Because when you say that you're the superior race and you're allowed to murder other races, that makes you a Nazi. And that's what those settlers are, that's what Smotrich is, that's what Netanyahu is, that's what Ben-Gvir is. But no, American media will lie to you and pretend that the Palestinians are oppressing the Israelis. The Palestinians are down to rocks. Rocks. And they're like, oh, the Palestinians might wipe out Israel. They might kill all the Israelis. With what army? Any reporter who says that is a lunatic, out of their minds. The Palestinians have no ability to harm Israel in an existential way. You'd have to be a lunatic to think, where? Do they have secret nukes? How are they going to wipe out Israel? What a crazy thing to say. Meanwhile, Israel is rubbing it in our face. Yeah, we're wiping out the Palestinians. Yeah, we think they're inferior to us. We're the superior race, and we will take their land, they say, as if they're goddamn Hitler. But American media is like, no, you can't say that. That's 100% factually true, but you're not allowed to say it because it might offend someone. Well, their constant murder of Palestinians and their declaration of their fascist desires offends me. Is it okay? No, you're Muslim, atheist, whatever the F you are, no one cares about you. No one cares. You can get offended, you can get killed. We don't care. So no, anti-Semitism isn't the problem. Massive nuclear level bigotry towards Muslims and Palestinians is the problem. If any report is telling you otherwise, have them watch Smotrich's tape where he says, we're gonna change the facts on the ground. So it doesn't really matter. What that means is we're gonna steal their land. And E1 is stealing their land by all international law, no one disputes that. So what? What are you gonna do about it? We're the superior race, he says, or religion or whatever the hell he thinks it is in his lunatic mind. It isn't about the Jewish part of Jewish supremacy at all, because almost all races and religions have lunatics like this. It's the supremacy part that's the problem. They're hiding behind Jewish people as human shields. They're using them as human shields to say, if you attack the evil actions of our government, we're gonna say that Jews are responsible for it. All the Jews are, and you're attacking Jews. Well, we didn't attack Jews, we didn't say Jews. You said it. The Israeli government is callously using the idea of anti-Semitism, callously using Jewish people all across the world, and by the way, endangering them and getting the whole world to hate them so that they could do their evil, evil plans for greater Israel. Do all Jews believe that they are superior to all other people, to Christians and Muslims? No, not a single Jewish person I know believes that, not one. And I know hundreds of Jewish people. But you go to Ben-Gvir, Smotrich, and Netanyahu, of course we are superior. We are the superior race, they say, just like the goddamn Nazis. But in American media, the reason I get so upset is gaslighting every day, every single day, every single hour. Israel's a democracy. The Palestinians are an existential threat to the Israelis, but the Israelis are not an existential threat to the Palestinians, even though they don't allow them to exist, even though they brag about how they're gonna murder them and take their land. No, I can't stand it. I can't stand the lies of American media and American politicians who are dogs to Israel. So that's just the reality. And you could know anyone who denies it now looks like a lunatic. The word is out, it's over. All your BS propaganda, oh no, everybody hates Israel. It's your fault. It's your fault being hateful. It's not Israel's fault for murdering. You know what? Oh, no, I'm sorry. I just used the word murder in the same sentence as Israel. You're not allowed to do that. Only Muslims murder. Israel accidentally kills. They didn't mean to. They're the most moral army. But hey, look at that. 61, now almost 62,000 dead at a bare minimum. Oops, did we murder your children again? 870 kids under the age of 1 murdered by Israel. Murdered by Israel. But no. You're not allowed to say it. You're not allowed to say facts because facts are anti-Semitic. Murdering 870 Palestinians and saying they're inferior and shouldn't exist, not bigoted, not racist, pointing that fact out, anti-Semitic. Anti-Semitic my ass. You guys are a bunch of liars because you're all deeply racist against Palestinians and deeply bigoted against Muslims. That's who you are if you're in American media. If you're one of those dogs working at the New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, MSNBC, I challenge, you know what? I challenge any mainstream media anchor, cable news anchor, to a debate on Israel. None of them will take it, and none of them can withstand it, because they're all giant liars, and they all do Israeli propaganda 24/7.
Do you think it's time to recognize a Palestinian state?
I think that's a profound question that arouses a lot of the biggest problems that have happened with Israel's survival, Israel's right to survival in the diplomatic scene.
Oh, what a jerk. What an unbearable piece of crap.
Wow.
That is a profound question that arouses sentiments about the destruction of Israel? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It asks you whether the Palestinians can exist.
He's just so pathetic.
When you pretend that Israel might not exist, when they're a nuclear power, when they have Iron Dome, when they're the most protected nation on earth, and you're pretending the Palestinians are the villains, the aggressors, and that Israel might not exist, when they ask you a goddamn question about whether the Palestinians can exist, and your answer, let me translate it for you, is I get a lot of money from AIPAC and the Israeli lobby, so I will never allow the Palestinians to exist if you elect me, because I serve like a AIPAC like a dog. That was the answer that Pete Buttigieg just gave. They asked him a clear question, an easy question, very straightforward. Should Palestine exist? Blah, 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 Harvard word salad, as Anna put it this morning, okay? Oh, it's a profound question that arouses a lot of blah, 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 blah. And then later he goes to a two-state solution. Wait, if you're for a two-state solution, why didn't you just say, of course Palestine should exist?
Yeah.
Because you're not for a two-state solution. That's just empty talk that they do, the politicians do. Oh, I checked it off. The consultants said to say that I'm in favor of a two-state solution, check. Okay, they also said treat Palestinians like dirt and don't recognize their right to exist. Check, okay. Oh, speaking of checks, AIPAC, send me money, okay? If you take Israeli lobby money, obviously no one should vote for you. And you should vote them out in your own primaries, whether you're Republican or Democrat, because anyone who takes AIPAC type of money is saying, I serve Israel. You can't say, oh, I took $1 million from AIPAC, but trust me, I prioritize America over Israel. I don't trust you. And I say the same thing if you take money from oil companies or defense contractors. I don't trust you at all. And honestly, you'd have to be a moron or a mainstream media reporter to trust a politician telling me, oh, I'm taking $1 million from a PAC, but trust me, I don't work for them. No, you work for them. And if you work for a foreign government, you should not be an American representative.
100%.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.